All right, awesome. Good. So it seems like y'all are getting better and better at that, and that's becoming easier and easier. Yes.
Yeah, I need to practice it. I need to actually practice it. It is better than the first time though.
Yeah, I just decided that I'm gonna stop thinking about my right hand when we do that and just focus on my left hand. And it's helped a little bit.
Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna conduct in our left hand. We're gonna count to 5, and we're gonna drop the hand on 1. So we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Whenever you get to 1, you drop your hand. Counting to 5, conducting in 4. All right, let's just go ahead and start our conducting pattern. Okay, now we're gonna start to count to 5, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So you have to count the 5 on your own. You count the 5 and make sure it's right on it. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, good, good. Now the one exercise I love the most is you're gonna follow the left hand with the right hand. So we're gonna conduct 2 4/4 patterns, but 1 beat behind each other. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're going 1 beat behind each other. So let's try 1. So we have 1. Left hand, right hand goes to 2, left hand goes to 1, 2, 3. Left hand goes to 2, 4. Left hand goes to 3, 1. All right, so let's try a little bit slower. All together. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Go take a second to practice that on your own.
Yeah, I cannot get my camera to work.
Well, just hop on your phone and it'll work out as best as can.
Yeah.
All right, try it one more time. 2, 2, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So Jose, what we're doing is we're doing a 4/4 pattern, but we're doing the left hand 1 beat behind. Do y'all want to try to do the 4/4 pattern with the left hand 2 beats behind?
Sure.
I've got a question. So Jack, it looks like when you're going to 3, that both of your hands are going in opposite directions. Is that what you're doing?
1, 2.
Well, yeah. On the first one, on the first rep, they're
Yeah.
opposite because 3 and 2. Left is on 2, right is on 3. So it looks opposite, right?
Yeah.
But shouldn't they be in the same direction?
Maybe. 1. You're right. Yeah. I've been doing it wrong.
Okay, because that's been confusing me a little, and I thought I was doing something wrong, but
I don't even know what I'm doing. So
I doubled down because I was like, at least I'm gonna do something.
No, thank you. That is it.
What?
Just saying you good.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Next we'll go to our triangle exercises. Can y'all see that? Is that big enough? Okay. So with these exercises, this is the left hand, this is the right hand. We take 4 counts to get to each. So everyone find 1, 2, 3. First triangle, 4, 5, 6. All right, good. So let's do it with some music. What is going on? Sorry. All right, and 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. All right, sorry. Jose, you start at our normal conductor position, and then go to 1. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, Beautiful. Good. Now we're going to do the contrary triangle. Everyone find 1. Look at it. Let's do 1. Yeah, 1, 2. I put Jose NY on the DKNY. Miami DC prefer Versace. All Philly hoes know it's Moschino. 4. Every cutie with the booty for the coochie. 5. The niggas fried dick. 6. Put the 6 on the Lexus. Good. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, time 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Let's try to contrary triangle number 2. Ready to show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this triangle exercise is posted on the Facebook group, and you guys can check it out. Lawrence, would you talk to us about the 4 hinges?
Lawrence, you're muted.
Thank you. All right. So we have 4 hinges. The first one is called fulcrum, and you can use the baton for this. With fulcrum, we just use the fulcrum to move the baton, and so that's like between the thumb and first finger. And then the next is wrist, so we can move the wrist up and down. That's on second hinge. We have the elbow, or the arm extends to the elbow, so we can go up and down here. And then the 4th hinge is the entire arm, which goes all the way to the shoulder. And so I think we separate them. We practice each one, and then we put them all together.
All right, good. And then Danny talked to us about holding a baton.
So just grab it like you would a snare drum stick, and then turn your wrist over. Thumb on the side. You want to make sure that you keep your wrist nice and flat so that you could hold a dime or a quarter or some sort of coin on it. And yeah.
All right, good. Let's hop up. Let's do 4 beats each. 4 fulcrum, 4 wrist, 4 forearm, 4 whole arm. 2, 1, 2, ready, fulcrum. Wrist. Just do fulcrum for a little bit. Not moving the wrist, just these 2. Not the whole wrist. Just the fulcrum. The wrist should stay still. Once you overdo the wrist, overdo it. Not using your forearm, just the wrist. Fulcrum. And let's go back to the whole exercise. 1, 2, fulcrum, go. 1, wrist, forearm, whole arm, are good. Bring your left hand about 5 inches away from the stick. Now suggest the pattern that side. And I'm bigger than the city lights down at Times Square. move out to 10 inches. Expand your pattern. 15. Pattern. 20. Winning. 15. Yeah. On the cover of Fortune, 500. I got the dough, got the rust like this. Good. We can sit down real quick. The next thing is we're going to talk about conducting legato.
Hey, Jack, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the fulcrum, do you make it move by pushing your finger, or is it supposed to be like your thumb and your first finger making the baton move?
It's your thumb and the first finger. So that's the fulcrum.
All right. And so like you're not using the other three fingers at all to make it move the baton move.
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about conducting legato. And the biggest part about conducting legato is you want to show the airspeed and the flow of the line to your students. It's not necessarily about the ictus and the beat. So in legato, one is very low. One is not necessarily as important. So kind of getting the camera. Am I doing this wrong? All right. So instead of it being 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, it's going to be 1, and then more about the horizontal line. So more about that painting we talked about earlier. 1. So 1, it's not about the 1, it's more about the flow of the air all the way through. So can you try that on your own? And with 2, 3, and 4, if you could try to keep your wrist as flat as you can each time.
Daddy,
Talk to Mommy.
I can't.
Awesome. So let's do some legato conducting. Hop on up. Oh my God, no.
What you been listening to, Dr. Edie?
There you go. You know, I try to keep it interesting. One, two, ready, go.
I've been drinking. I get filthy when that liquor get a time.
Think about de-emphasizing 1, more about the horizontal line.
Fingers off the baby, I want you. Can I keep my fingers off the baby, I want you.
What does that piano look like to you?
Cigars on ice, cigars on ice.
You know your piano still needs more of the horizontal line.
Flashing lights. You got me
What does Metro Forte look like?
Keep your eyes up, daddy, I want you. Drunk in love, I want you. We woke up in the kitchen saying, how the hell did this shit happen? Oh, baby. Drunk in love, we be all night. The thing I remember is our beautiful bodies grinding over their blue. Drunk in love, we be all night.
Jose, try to get rid of the ictus as much as possible. Try to get rid of the ictus as much as possible. Flow through.
And everything alright. No place for my body, so flow racing under these lights. Boy, I'm drinking. Walking in my.
Man, I get too hype on the song. All right. Good. Next thing we're gonna do is talking about melding, keeping into that idea of what we're just doing. So instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna meld beat 3 and 4. So it's gonna be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like you're tracing 3, 4, but you're not really giving a beat. So try that on your own. Beautiful. So we're gonna now let's meld on 1 and 2. So we're gonna go 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Yeah, awesome. So let's try that. We're gonna meld on 3 and 4. 2, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, meld, 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 1, 2, meld. Good.
After I saw you laying next to her.
So now let's try to do meld on 1 and 2. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Good. And so one thing with the melding, it should be easily flow through. So it's not like 1, oh, I got to catch up to my rhythm, my beat. 3, 4. So it's almost like you're tracing at 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you don't have to do 1, 2 or 1, 2. Just 1, 3, 4. Like you're making it one big motion. Just like we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You probably say that it was juvenile, but I think that I deserve to smile. I bust the windows out your car. You know I did it 'cause I left my mind for my initials with the.
Awesome. Good, you can sit down now. Is that still up there? Yes, it is. Oops. All right. Good. Good. So the next thing we're gonna do is we've been working on. Oh, sorry. So with the exercises we do, hopefully that's something you can incorporate. We've been talking about doing 5 minutes of conducting a day. So whatever that looks like, that could be in between commercials of something you're watching. That could be as you're changing Netflix movies, or as the movie's changing, or the show is changing over. Just finding one of these exercises to do. So, like, all right, today we're gonna work on, melding, and you can easily sit down and do that, or while you're watching, Ozark or whatever, and you trying that hand independent stuff that we were talking about. Um, doing stuff like that. Okay, so we've also been talking about what can we do to how do we show this musical expression to our students. So so um, so we're gonna practice that, and we're gonna do it today on. We'll do it again on "Mary Had a Little Lamb," and so we'll do "Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow." Now, however you want to conduct it, I want you to take a little bit of seconds and think about how do you want those 4 measures to be phrased, how you want it to, what kind of style you want it to be in, and think about the direction of the line. So take a couple seconds and think about it.
Hey, you said 4 measures, which means that we're singing in 8th notes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it in quarter. Let's do it in quarter. So
Okay.
Mary had a
All right.
All right. So Danny, tell us what you're gonna do.
Tell.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with some staccato, probably closer to a marcato, just something with some front on the notes. And then we're gonna crescendo the first 2 half notes. So that's measures 2 and 3. And then we'll decrescendo on the half note and measure 4. And then we're gonna flip the articulation pattern in the second half. So we're going to have some staccatos, and then the long notes will be short, and then we'll have a sforzando piano at the end.
All right. On you. So Mary had a little. Mary had a little. So lamb.
Start over. I think the lag is getting to me. I'm sorry. Starting over.
So Jose, what we're doing is one person is going to conduct Mary Had a Little Lamb. We gave time to think about the phrase and style that you want to do, and so we're singing what we see. So you can get off mute, and it might sound funny to us, but just sing what you see. Mary had. Before you go, Danny, before you go, one thing I meant to talk to us about early today is the preparatory gesture. All right. And with the preparatory gesture, the thing that helps the preparatory gesture is, one, you do it in the time you want, in the style you want, and you take a great breath to show what you want. So if we're doing, dang, I keep my hand. All right. So one thing you can do is, so that could be legato, that could be regular, or if you wanted to set it up, what Corporon used to always say is the prep is a contract. So if I'm setting up here, I'm breathing here, the players expect the beat to be right here. I can't go prep, play right here. Does that make sense? Because that breaks the contract. So you want to make sure, and it's like, it's not a secret that you're about to play. You don't want to play a game with your kids. You want to give them as much information as possible, so that they can then get what you want. So let's just all just try to do a legato prep at mezzo forte. What does that look like to your students? Like, and mainly like to the students in the back of the room. All right. 1, 2, 3. Good. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Good. What does that look like? A staccato at forte. Staccato at forte. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not like you're gonna kill them, Lawrence. Just a little light staccato.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3. Beautiful, beautiful. So just think about your style and your dynamic in your prep. All right, on you, Danny. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb.
Little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Ooh.
All right, Danny loves that forte piano crescendo ending.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. So I know this is the first time, but remember, you want to make sure that the information comes ahead of time. So with that legato, you want to make sure you're showing that before you want us to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's like super cognitively weird hearing the delay and trying to think about showing stuff ahead of time, because like in my head I hear something that's not what I'm showing and I'm like, no, gotta fix that. But it's like internet is weird.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, you have to conduct like 2 seconds ahead. You can't really listen. You just have to kind of show it. That's what I realized.
All right, Lawrence. I'm going to show us what you got.
All right. Let's see. Oh.
Out the door.
Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go.
Mary had a little lamb.
Little lamb, little lamb. Mary
had a little lamb whose fleece was
was
white as snow.
awesome. So Lawrence, I could tell you had the style in mind, but what was your phrasal line? What was the line you were going for?
Good question. It was just like legato. Like what I was thinking was legato, staccato, legato, but I didn't like think about the phrase as much. So you could probably tell.
So next time I want you to work to do both. But yeah, that's awesome. Good, Jose, you're up.
Oof. All right. So, I don't think this is safe.
Timbales?
Huh?
Were those timbales?
No, it's my music stand.
Oh.
Nice shirt, by the way. Yeah.
Mary had a little lamb.
That the delays. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, man, it's trash. It's so trash.
2 beats off. I was like, get with me. All right.
So
so
trash.
Jose, I want you to think about what we talked about with legato and what we talked about with the prep.
Okay. So the prep is going to be legato.
I'm guessing, were you conducting legato?
I was going for it, yeah.
All right, so yes.
Okay.
Mary had a
Oh,
little
man.
lamb, little lamb,
Little
little lamb.
Mary
had
had
a
a
Little
little
lamb whose fleece was
was white
white
as
as
snow.
snow.
Okay, Danny, what'd you see?
I saw some points where it looked like he wanted more front on the notes. Maybe some more pointed articulation. There were some moments where he got bigger and took up some more space that he was looking for a crescendo. It seemed like, yeah.
Was that right, Dan? I mean, Jose?
Yeah, I mean, I think again it goes back to, I think when you're conducting and then hearing what you're getting back and not getting back what you're showing. But yes, that's exactly what I was trying to go for. Different, just different articulations and flow of that line.
Well, awesome. We're going to jump ahead to our next thing, which is we're going to talk about Benediction by John Stevens. Does everyone know that piece? If you don't, it is wonderful. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Can y'all see that score pretty well?
Yeah, for the most part.
All right, so we're going to listen through for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about this part. We just talk about any conducting ideas or things that we could come across in the music. All right, here you go. Benediction, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know this piece, man, it is just truly wonderful. It's a grade 3. It was transcribed from, I believe, a YouTube quartet.
Amari, you don't have to be. You're not stuck.
Is that Monica? Hey, Monica.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I thought it was muted.
No. It's all right. It's all good. Would y'all rather look at this score, or I have the PDF and it might come through better? What do y'all think?
The PDF will probably come through better.
Yeah, I can't really see the YouTube.
Anybody do anything special for Juneteenth?
I'm going to a friend's, and we're part of this like wind down Juneteenth conversation that one of her friends has organized and whatnot. So that'll be interesting.
Awesome. All right, anyone just through listening, what's one or two things that you know you would need to do to help your students with this? What you got, Jose?
Assuming that you have strong soloists, my main focus in something like this is really trying to convince the players that have all these sustained notes to really try to shape and give direction to their line, and which will give all these soloists with the moving lines a better foundation to expand their solos and their moving lines. So I would probably start there.
Cool. Anybody else?
I think it's important for them to know the melody. at all times. Like, even if you've got the long notes, like Jose was talking about, you've got to shape those, but you've got to know where in the melody we are because of the phrase. Because if you think about the origins of the piece, it was a chamber work. So it's super easy to hear the melody. So as the orchestration gets thicker, they've got to be paying attention to that. I think making sure that everybody knows the hierarchy of what's going on helps with that.
All right, anybody else? All right. Cool. So let's just listen to the first part of the phrase, and then we'll talk about some conducting things. Awesome. So let's talk about that. What do we need to do conducting wise? Do we need to do anything? What do y'all think?
We need to get out of the way and trust that we've trained our musician to be an expressive musician.
You lucky you want to say something else, Lawrence?
No, that's not it. I was, what instrument is it the trombone that's
The
playing?
euphonium. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I would say kind of the same thing, just like showing the ends of the phrases to help the rest of the band, but the soloists kind of just let them do their thing.
So since it's just a solo, would y'all conduct, or would you just let the soloist go for it?
I'd turn them loose.
Lawrence, Jose?
I would let them just I would not conduct, especially since it ends in a fermata. So everyone else comes in, the band should be fine. So
I would not conduct unless the player is a little bit less secure and immature player. I would just give them the phrase, tell them when to breathe, cut off just a little bit. Some of my baritone players aren't the most confident.
yeah, you give them assistance at first. You help them out. You give them some guidance, and then you let them explore on their own.
All right, let's keep listening. Awesome. So let's just go from pretending that we get the pickup and we understand the pickup. What are some things that we need to think about conducting wise, just from that first measure with everyone?
Making sure that we don't encourage the players to play too loud with the size of our pattern, because it's only piano. And I've heard a lot of groups play this first fuller ensemble section super loud.
What else?
I think once you've tackled that beast of an entrance and getting a full ensemble to come in at a piano dynamic, once you kind of have everything going, really thinking about moving through just kind of like a heavier conducting flow. when I talk to my string players in my orchestra, we talk a lot about just bowing through water, imagining your air is all water. And kind of the same thing with your conducting is just making it just slow, pensive, and weighted.
And that's exactly right. A piece like this is like we're talking about. It's not about your ictus and you showing them. It's all about showing them that airspeed, the airflow, and the direction of the line that you want them to go. That becomes the most important. So a lot of times, even when you see, like sometimes you'll see conductors conducting super big on piano, it's not necessarily that they don't want the players to play piano. They're trying to, one, give them the confidence to play out, especially the younger you are, and then two, show how you want the air to flow. Because in piano music, a lot of times our students don't play with as good of air. So we have to kind of help show them. So, but the first big thing we have to also tackle is this beat one. Your players have been off for about 8 measures. And so we have to be, after that fermata, we have to be really like, okay, here we go. And 1, do-do-da-da. We used this at a conducting symposium last year. And a lot of people this was very, very confusing to the ensemble because this beat one has to be so passive because the importance is on beat 2. So it's not, okay, 1, da-da, it's da-dee-da, and then you go from there. Good. So let's sing the melody. Let's just sing the melody. And as you're singing it, I want you to think about how you want the melody to be phrased. 1, 2, ready, go, 1. Da, 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 da. Da, da, dee, dee, da, 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 dee, da, da. All right, good, Lawrence, what you got?
So energy through the whole note. I don't like to say like crescendo, even though that's kind of what it is. I like to say energy through the long note, and kind of a release after the tie, or kind of separation to go into the next part. And then the same thing for the next long note. I think that all the long notes you need to kind of crescendo through, and then that kind of creates the phrase on its own. So I guess that's up to, and then down 1, or it's kind of, let's see.
Are these still the melody lines? Are they still played by soloists, or is the full section now in?
Full section now.
Full section.
Okay. Yeah. I say up 2, down 2. So the second whole note you go down, and then up 2, and then down 2. I had to sing it in my head.
Anybody got something different?
I think you have to really think about, even like when we were just singing it, how we were running out of air.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't make that that quarter note. Like if you're looking at the trumpet line, we couldn't make that quarter note A. So you have to really think about your how much air you're really putting out, and that's going to help your phrasing. And if you're thinking more of an arc and then coming back down, air is going to be a little bit easier to kind of manage. But then being able to hear, these lines that are happening, and all these half note lines that are happening underneath, and letting those kind of do the work while you're just sitting on a whole note. So.
And I want to point out, every time the melody has that sustained note, there's something interesting happening each time. So let's just listen to that phrase one more again, and then we'll go on. Awesome. So let's conduct through this beginning. I know you may have to just catch up, and I want you to say the instrument that is the most important to you, to your ear. Just say the instrument that is most important to you as you're conducting. So trumpet, da dee, trombone, da dee, trumpet, da da. Just I want you to say that as we go. Trumpet,
Trumpet,
Tuba.
trumpet,
horn,
horn,
Bone.
trumpet,
trumpet,
tuba,
euphonium,
Tuba.
tuba,
Euphonium. Trumpet.
all the half notes.
Horn.
Awesome, awesome. And I loved how you went with the line you're going from. So this is something you need to like share with your students, like this moving line, da da dee da dee da dee da. That all that kind of stuff is what really makes the melody really, really cool. Really, really cool. And because he started out with playing that opening line, we don't need to necessarily focus on that. Yes, the melody has to be up front, but all this moving stuff has to be more apparent than before. All right, we'll go on. All right, good. So, what do we hear different in 17?
I mean, one of the things that I'm listening to, it might be different on your end with the actual recording, but that is not like a page mezzo piano. What they're playing is not a real, what I would say, mezzo piano, but I think it doesn't matter because it sounds good and it sounds balanced. And so I think if you were to play this with a younger group, you have to be really aware of these dynamics, and that you don't fall into the trap of really focusing on playing piano or mezzo piano and not having a good tone. So you might need to bump these dynamics just a little bit.
So good, yeah. Tone before dynamics. Anyways, if I were doing this with a young band, I would have everyone start off by playing forte, and so that way everyone gets used to playing with good air, and then we back them off with dynamic if they sound good playing that dynamic. All right, who else?
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing is with the mezzo piano, it's really, really a mezzo piano that happens itself. So when you add the players, to our ear, it becomes louder. So you don't necessarily have to have them play louder, just fit inside of everything that's happening. Somebody's about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say what you were gonna say. It sounds louder because all the woodwinds are playing
Yep.
now. But what I heard in the recording, at least, was the counter melody like seemed more apparent or more important. I don't know if that's supposed to be that way, but I thought it was cool. The dee da da dee dum, that came out.
Okay, so Lawrence, if you were doing this, why would you make the counter line more apparent?
Well, for one, you've already heard the main melody twice, so just to hear something different. And if you look down the score, he gave it to like multiple players. So in the brass and woodwind, so obviously the composer wants it to come out. So that would be the reason, I guess.
That's good, and I think you should really think about this thing. And for me, I'm looking at them like flute, clarinet, sax, trumpet, and euphonium. That's an interesting like color combination that you can create there. All right. Then would you take a breath here, or would you keep, like, is it 2 4-bar phrases, or is it 1 8-bar phrase to you?
It's an 8-bar phrase to me. But for me, so he puts that there's a range of tempo here, and I always hear this section, this restatement of the melody where we've changed some of the balance. I hear it faster. I hear it moving forward as we continue this momentum towards the climax of the piece.
So Danny, if you're doing it, would you play it faster, and why?
Yeah, I would definitely do 17 to 25 faster. So if I was at 66 at 9, I'm probably going 70 or working my way up to 70 when we get to 17 and moving forward. And you've also got another accelerando going into 25. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but that's less work that you have to do on the back end because you did your work early. And the harmonic rhythm is faster. The actual rhythms on the page are faster than what we've seen before. So it makes sense for the music to have more energy for me.
All right, anybody else? Monica? Oh, Barbara. I don't know if you can hear me. Hi, Barbara. So
hello. Thanks for letting me join you guys. This is awesome.
Oh, no problem. We're glad you're here. So you can jump in anytime as well.
I've never heard of this piece, but I have fallen in love with it.
We did it at the HBCU Consortium Conducting Workshop last year, and I never heard it. And I was like, just listen to the first time. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah, sorry. All right. All right, we're gonna go on. Thinking about the lines and what would you do even as we have these temporary tonicizations going on. Awesome. Good. So we're going to conduct through this at 25, and I want you to conduct and I want you to say who's the important line to you as you're conducting. And as you're conducting, I want you to think, are there moments that you can meld during this section? Here we go. Brass.
Horns. Horns.
Alto,
Harmonium.
low brass.
Flute.
Doo-da-dee. It's so good.
Horns.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So some things to think about is, yes, the pickup. We have to make sure this release slash pickup is very, very, very clear. So when we get to the whole note, leading to the whole note, we don't need to worry about time for the whole note or anything else. Da dee da, whole note, brass. Dee da da, dee dee da. We're there, and dee da da. So this time, I want you to think about that trade-off between the two lines, and I want you to conduct less. So you're not allowed to conduct a specific pattern. Okay? Not a normal 4/4 pattern. I just want you to conduct line and that conversation happening between the two. Here we go. Okay, Jose, how would your phrasing be here?
So I would really focus on how the melody is moving, but then I think my focus, where'd it go? I think my focus is going to be on getting all of these tension and releases to happen and to kind of lead into what the melody is going to pick up from what they're doing. But still, it's just melody, and just driving through, but then backing away a little bit when those tension releases places happen.
Anybody else?
Yeah, for me, it's like a slow burn. Like this whole section is a slow burn, and it's crescendo to your arrival, and then get out of the way because somebody else is coming in. Like we were talking about with the conversation. And I think that also helps facilitate some of the tension and release. If they're building through the tension and then relaxing on the release.
Yeah, I love it. And one thing I want to point out is as something new arrives, so a new player, a new color entering, a new rhythm happening, you should really lead to that rhythm and or that player to let that color or different thing happen and is make sure it's to play. All right, next part. Yes. Sorry. All right. Talk about this section, Lawrence.
I think he's away.
Yeah, he's away.
Okay. Danny.
Uh, it feels so polyphonic because he's given each independent line something unique and interesting, like the whole measure full of quarter note triplets is super important, and if you facilitate the play of the duple versus the uh, triple in the melody, because the melody is all straight duple and regular, so that's a super interesting thing that Stevens does there. But I think this section is about encouraging your musicians to be musicians and play as expressively as they can, because I don't think that there is a wrong way to balance the parts in this section, because everybody's got something that's interesting. Even the uh, boring note part is so interesting harmonically.
So, what would be your order of balance for this, then, Danny?
Um, I would like the people who've got the quarter note triplets. I'd probably like them on top with the melody just under that. And then the bass line would probably be my next most important thing. And that alto-ish tenor line would come in after that.
Anybody else?
I would approach this. Now, this is assuming that I, had like beasts players in front of me,
We know you
and not like. But anyways, I would really focus on this flute, clarinet, alto, trumpet, and what is that, baritone down there? Color. Again, focusing from what has been done before. I think that's a really interesting, like, just sound combination. And then just letting that drive this whole thing. So.
And one thing about to what you both were saying is this conversation that we've been having before continues. So that ba da da dee da 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 ba da da dee da da dee da 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 dee da. That conversation allows you to have both, like what you're saying. So like those whole notes on top could be just could just ba da da, get out of the way, take over, and that's something that you could easily do. All right, anything else to this, you think?
I think that before I go teach my lesson, I always think that you can't be too slow going into these fermatas at the end. I think you can milk that harmony for what it's worth. But that's just me, and I'm a big harmony person. So.
Agreed. All right.
I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, and then real quickly through here. So now I love how he gives the brass a chance to shine, and then the woodwinds. Like each family has that moment. So it's the same thing here that we've been talking about, but then he changes it just a little bit when the brass come in. Da 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 dee da dee Really, really, really nice. And then we go through to the end. Back to the solo line. And so like here, like we're talking about making sure that contract is happening. So I don't know. I just love this so much. So at this end, just making sure you're showing them exactly what you want. And just you can let that hold on as long as you want it. And that is just the quick rundown of Benediction by John Stevens. And I know I said it was for, I think, two euphonium quartet, but it was originally done for brass choir. I think that's what it was originally scored for brass choir. So my bad on that. Other than that, man, I love doing stuff like this, and hopefully you will play some of this stuff in the future, because like something like this is very obtainable to everyone.
It's something I would like to start at the beginning of the school year, to work on tone and phrasing, and you can do a lot of stuff with this song because it's not too long and it's beautiful.
And that's exactly right. And this is one of those things that it's also one of those pieces you could truly just let the kids conduct themselves. Like I think it's called the Orpheus model. And you let them work on breathing and playing together and playing chamber-like, and just letting them do it on their own and see what they could come up with. Next week, we have Dr. Lance Sample from the University of Minnesota. He's going to be joining us, and he'll run through Of Our New Day Begun by Omar Thomas. So we'll conduct through that on next week. As always, invite a friend. Thanks, Lawrence, for inviting some folks. So invite a friend, and let's just keep getting better. I appreciate everyone for coming, and you guys have a great week. Oh, or I'll see you Sunday at the Listen Up session if you come.
Oh, wait, Sunday because it's Father's Day.
Yeah, I thought you said no. Listen
Sunday.
Up.
Yeah, that's right. No, Listen Up this Sunday.
Okay.
All right. Well, y'all have a great week, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.